joins us with his look at what's been happening on this major story for us here tonight in France. James, reaction from journalists and newsrooms via social media, on news websites. Tell us what you found.
All right, let's take a look at how some newsrooms in Paris and journalists have been reacting, feeling, I suppose, very close to the sentiments of those close to Charlie Hebdo journalists, etc. This is from Le Figaro, the centre-right newspaper's newsroom today, where they had a minute's silence, and newsrooms across the city have been saying that they will do the same. That's from Paris Match. I am Charlie, which has been the slogan picked up by crowds in the streets and by people on social media as well. Le Monde in a very quickly put up online editorial expressing their solidarity, indignation and shock. They said liberty of thought and expression were also attacked today, which are founding principles of our society, and that is a cartoon by their cartoonist Plantu saying, with Charlie Hebdo, with all our hearts. They also put up online an interview that they conducted just very recently with Charb, who was the editor of Stéphane Charbonnier's his full name. He was one of the victims today, where one of the quotes that really, I think, moved people, that was brought back to their attention: "I would prefer to die standing up than to live on my knees." That is the front page of tomorrow's Libération, the left-wing newspaper. We are all Charlie is their cover headline, picking up on the general slogan, I am Charlie. This is a satirical, I suppose, France's version of The Onion, if you like, and they just have a plain black image in the place of a photo. No satire, no laughter on their website, or at least in this article today. It's very angry and sober, and that headline, Mark, is Crappy World, essentially. Cartoonists have been also getting in on the reactions. David Pope, with his take on things, he drew first. I think it speaks for itself there, doesn't it, in terms of the completely barbaric and disproportionate response to satire. Same idea here by Ruben Oppenheimer, I suppose echoing the Twin Tower attacks. I am Charlie, pencil meeting the gun. So you have really across the world, people were coming up with all sorts of clever ways to illustrate the barbarity of the act and how people feel about it and how we should respond to it. And solidarity really is the key message. I am Charlie. That is the cartoonist for Charlie Brown. And that was shared thousands of times by Twitter users when he put that up. Magnus Shaw put that up on social media. This is BFM TV, one of France's rolling news channels. Why? Quite simply, when you see pens and pencils and rubbers surrounded by blood. So I think that was one of the motifs of the day, really. Cartoonists very much taking to the pen, proving that the pen can still indeed be mightier than the sword. A lot of people asking, should UK media and other media outlets reprint Charlie Hebdo's cartoons? Now, that is a debate that goes back to, of course, this is a New Yorker cartoon which is picking up on the whole idea of censorship, self-censorship. Please enjoy this culturally, ethnically, religiously and politically correct cartoon responsibly. Thank you. Now, that's an old cartoon that is being shared today. Charlie Hebdo themselves have echoed that theme back in 2012 when shortly after their offices were firebombed. And you can see here they issued two different front covers that particular week. One was a responsible version on the right, and you can see that there's no satire present. There's nothing, in fact. And the other, irresponsible. And they really, since 2005, during the Danish cartoons furore, when 140 people died in riots that were sparked by this Danish newspaper publishing 12 cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad, they republished those cartoons some months later in a very strong declaration of support for the principles of freedom of the press and freedom of expression. And they, ever since then, have been at the forefront of that particular battle, have been criticised for it by some, and others have said that they are absolutely brave and have been brave in that fight. This is an example of a provocative front cover that has been shared much, not as provocative as some of the covers that you might have seen, but here, love is stronger than hatred, and that has been shared widely today. People very much, I suppose, sharing those principles. That was one, actually, that one of the cartoonists, Charb, penned just a few short weeks ago, and it's a very tragic one indeed, because he's talking about there having been no attacks in France this year.
So that cartoon will be Stéphane Charbonnier's epitaph, will it not? You know?
I think it really will. I suppose we have to wait and see exactly the motivations behind this attack, but I think it's pretty clear that it's being openly and plainly called a terrorist attack.
What's clear is that Charlie Hebdo clearly played. I'm saying played because if the editorial staff's been wiped out, will it continue to exist? But it's played a key role in freedom of speech, in questioning not just Islam but all aspects. I mean, François Hollande gets an art kicking from Charlie Hebdo, doesn't he? But there's no clamp down from the politicians. There's no clamp down from the Pope. There's no anger. You know.
I remember one front cover of Charlie Hebdo showing condoms in the form of the Eucharist. I mean, it's always been that sort of extremely provocative tone.
You can see how that would provoke some people.
It's tasteless. A lot of the humour that it put out there has been tasteless in the past, and it can kind of just about overstep the line of good taste, but. There's no way you can justify mass murder.
Absolutely not. There is no way.
A very quick look at how the protests and the rallies of support have been playing out on social media. Some really touching and beautiful images coming in. That's at Paris's Place de la République with some of the various slogans. I am Charlie. We are all Charlie. Do not be afraid. The pen being brandished in the streets as well. You had images from other cities around. That's Trafalgar Square in London, where a lot of course, a big French population in London, and various cities around France. There was another image. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it in Rennes, for example.
I saw a massive crowd in Toulouse. Massive crowd in Toulouse.
That's right. That one there is, I think. I'm not sure which French city, but there have been just massive demonstrations in the streets and people. Creating Facebook groups, etc., encouraging.
The number I've seen is 100,000 across France, James. I think it's far higher than that, definitely.
May well be.
Sir, as ever, pleasure to see you. Difficult evening, but obviously we're doing our best. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thanks, Mark,
for bringing us that look at what people are saying online about this, horrible day here in France. Let's move on with more on today's events. The death of 12 people. We're going to a short break and then, of course, continue our coverage of this story. Stay with us. So I could hum the music.
Breaking news on